My name is Jeff Mendelson, and this is the One Big Tip podcast. And today, I am really pleased to have with me on the line William Harris. William is an entrepreneur and the founder of The Hustle Marketing and Design, where he and his team of professionals help brands get the attention and recognition they deserve through a wide range of marketing services. William's biggest passion is people, which is why his one big tip today is all about networking. So, this is going to be a lot of fun. William, thank you so much for joining me and welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me on. It's a pleasure.
So cool. So I wanted to talk with you for a little bit. First of all, you and I are pretty much cut from the same cloth. We both come from the digital marketing space,
hmm
and I saw your portfolio. You got some great stuff going on over there. Can you please take a few minutes to give us a quick background to who you are and why you're so amazing?
I don't know about the amazing part. You may have some people that argue that, but uh, like you said, it just serial entrepreneur. I've been in the marketing and sales side in the oil and gas industry for quite some time. Anybody that's aware of oil and gas knows it's a roller coaster of a ride, and just due to multiple layoffs through my career, me and some friends that have known each other through that industry decided to do what our bread and butter was, which was marketing and sales strategies, and start our own company. So we started the Hustle Marketing and Design, and our goal was to help educate entrepreneurs on their branding and help them with their sales and get them going onto a level where they wanted to be without the huge upfront capital costs that we all know a startup can take. So
So what's really cool. So first of all, let's just dissect the name for a minute, right? Is that it's a pretty audacious name for you to come out there and just yeah, we're gonna hustle right into this. How'd you guys come up with that?
so I mean it can almost be argued as cliche, but everybody always has that says, "Oh, I need a side hustle," or I'm hustling today, and so it just kind of stuck, and it rings with people, and it relates to them and what they're trying to do. A lot of people are, they have that 9 to 5, but they want either more finances or they want more financial freedom or whatever it may be. So they come up with that side hustle, whether it's selling shoes or it's tutoring somebody in school or whatever it may be. So taking that, we knew people would hear that name and relate to it, and it would grab some awareness of them wanting to know what we're all about.
Yeah, what's cool about that name is that hustle culture has been around for a while now, right? So like Gary V or really popularizes it and really takes it to another level. But also, what happens is that you can apply this to like to all kinds of different industries. Even some more traditional ones that sort of need that break in their strategic mindset of not just we're going to go and create a brochure website or a brochure offer. They need someone to come out of the box and create something that's really going to grab attention, right?
Absolutely, and that's what we pride ourselves on, is really getting out of what society thinks you should be doing and thinking outside the box, and presenting you something different that makes you have that different mindset than your competitors.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for that. So I want to talk about your one big tip here for a minute, which is all about networking. And COVID aside, where people have not been able to travel and or have been skittish about traveling, or even being able to to connect with people over Zoom and or other of these great communication technologies that we have right now, the idea of networking to get your ideal clients has not changed, right? You still
Right,
need to do it. You still need to get yourself out there. You need to put your offer out there and make sure that more than enough people see it so that you're able to promote it, right?
right,
So that you're able to show people this is who I am, this is what I stand for, and this is who I've been called to serve.
right.
Can you please talk a little bit about how you approach networking in particular, and why it has been such a great, like a great mechanism for you to promote your business as well?
So I preach this all the time about networking because networking is so important. Um, the thing with networking, it's part of the sales cycle, and even if you're if you're introverted, you're not going to do it as much because, you're kind of bundled up in your way and you don't want to reach out to new people. And that's fine. Surround yourself with people that'll do it for you, such as good salesmen or business development managers, or whatever you want to call them. But the thing with networking is too often we just pass up people that can become opportunities. I have a passion for people and understanding their story, and that's why I started my podcast. Um, Having that passion about people has done nothing but elevate my success, and learning about individuals and what they want, what they need, how do they tick, and all those questions play a big part when you're building a business because that's where you find your niche. Point in case, when you reached out to me about the podcast on LinkedIn, I guarantee you a lot of people on LinkedIn get a random message and they probably just ignore it. I don't do that. When I'm on LinkedIn and I get a message, and sometimes it is time consuming, but it pays off in the long run. But when I get a message from somebody and I look at their profile, even if it's somebody that I know is they're fixing to pitch me on financial services or crypto or whatever the millions of things that they're trying to pitch to you, SEO, um, I still send them a message and I'm respectful to them saying, "Hey, thanks for the connection. I'm happy to network with you, but at this time, I'm not interested in your service that you're going to pitch to me." And that goes a long way. It gives you respect. You're not leaving people hanging, but you started building that relationship without even realizing it. And it goes beyond LinkedIn. I do it, if I'm sitting at a bar by myself due to travel, I'm going to talk to the person next to me. And I've actually got business that way. Same with an airport. I can't tell you how many deals I've closed in an airport from somebody that I just met. I just happened to be at the right place at the right time. But with that, in addition to that, I started that conversation and swapped those business cards and established that relationship. And people respect that because, you know, I feel when you make those relationships and you close those deals, it's at the time that you're really not prepared for it. It's just the fact that you went after it and gained that respect from somebody.
It's really cool that you brought that up about the airports and just talking with people. I also have I have been able to strike up conversations with people, with people next to me. There was one time I was able to close a deal when do you remember back in the day when airplanes had those phones in the back of every seat?
Mhm.
What happened was that, so now I'm dating myself, right?
That's back when you
You
could
know,
still send things.
right? But I had this pager and it's like, you got to call this number 911, right? Remember that? With the
Mhm.
little 911 next to it. And we were just about to take off. So I'm like, all right, they said 911. It's my client. I got to call them up, So as the plane is taking off, I swipe the card and I start, I call them up on the phone. And it turns out that they had a bunch of questions about this proposal that we had sent over. And I was able not only to close the deal on that phone call for the duration of the flight, but as soon as I hung up, half the plane was clapping with me and like passing out their business cards because everybody listened to the conversation of me trying to
Mhm.
save this deal. Right. And it just became this really great pivotal moment. It was actually the moment that I realized that I didn't want to be a programmer anymore. I
Mhm.
didn't want to be the guy slinging code. I didn't want to do any of that. I wanted to be in technical sales, right? Because that's exactly what I did. And so that was just such a clarifying moment that I was able to, not only, be there and take care of the business that I needed to take care of, but also people around me were able to see that as well. And you bring
Right.
up a good point with with the podcast, because, a podcast, especially an interview type podcast that we're doing now, is really all about networking. It's all about meeting new people, gaining new ideas, and putting that information out there. Uh, what
Exactly.
I, what I'd like to ask you though is with the podcast in particular that you guys have set up, how has that helped your business in terms of meeting the right people and getting the right types of offers out into the open?
So it's been an interesting ride because with the podcast, my guests are also potential clients of mine, because my guests are entrepreneurs or business owners, So they're going through the same struggles of the solutions that we offer. Maybe they're having issue with their website. Maybe they're having an issue with strategy, whatever it may be. And we actually hash it out and talk about it through the podcast. So I'm advertising our services without really advertising our services and demonstrating what we're capable of doing. Along with that, our podcast guests are sharing that, everybody's excited to be on someone's podcast. So they're excited about being on the podcast. So they're sharing that with their friends. And, we all know majority of people that own businesses or entrepreneurs, they surround themselves with other business owners and entrepreneurs. So they're seeing that podcast, they're hearing those strategies, they're hearing those conversations, and it's grabbing their attention to where we have basically kind of made a sales funnel where our leads are calling us and asking us those same questions on how to help them with some of the issues that they're having with their business. So it's been a great strategy, and it's been a fun one because, again, we're learning about people and what their problems are, and you would think everybody's issue in marketing or strategy would be the same, but it's really not. It's always something different. So and it keeps it exciting.
When you interview someone for your podcast, it's never really like, okay, let me pitch this guy, right? It's
No.
usually about having a great conversation and then just getting them to warm up to your personality, to warm up to how it is that you do business, and just, sort of, ascertain whether is this the kind of person I want to handle my digital marketing or not.
Mhm.
Right. And I think that goes so far, especially when you're able to see them, you get them on a Zoom call, you record their voice, and it's great on so many levels, because not only is there an exchange of ideas, there's an exchange of value,
Mhm.
right? Where you're giving them a platform and they're coming and talking about their product. How have you seen that work in terms of your business to create better synergies for bringing people on board?
Uh, Trying to be sure I answer the question correctly. Be sure I understand the question. So what you're asking, like, from the conversations that we're having on the podcast, how is that relating to the people involved outside of it?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. So because we're talking about real life situations that other people have gone through, they just don't know how to really deal with it, or they didn't know how to approach it. And some of the conversations that we have dug even deeper than a business relation or a sales strategy or whatnot. Some of the scenarios or situations that some of my guests have been more personal related. Maybe it was they were born in a poor drug abuse family, or maybe they had financial issues, and people can relate to that. I had one guest that went through a divorce and had to start completely over, which is one of the hardest things to do, because people that go through divorce, they understand that, some of them think, well, it's over. Like, I don't know how to start over. And so, diving deeper past the marketing aspect of it into real life situations and showing and discussing, there's ways to get out of that and still build your business and be successful. Uh, People really relate to that, and it gives them such a positive motivation to where they want to reach out because they want to hear more, because it's not just maybe a business conversation that we're having to get them going.
Well, that's a really great answer, because I've seen that a lot. And, sometimes, like when you bring a guest on your show, their marketing materials or their one sheet, it's like they pull up really tough, right?
Hmm.
And they pull up like, yeah, I'm an expert in this, I'm an expert in that. And then you get them on the show and then you realize, their blood is just as red as mine.
Hmm.
Right. And they
Yeah.
have the same vulnerabilities. They're probably having the same struggles of getting new clients and things like that. So, it really comes down to, being able to relate and being able to, being able to put yourself out there and have relatable people on your show so that you can have a deeper conversation. So,
Yeah, and that's a big part, just to kind of jump in there, it's a big part of what you said when you said struggles. That's a big point of our show. Everybody sees an entrepreneur, they see the successful side, they see the money, the Instagram fame, or whatever you want to call it. they don't see the struggles that that person went through. So when we discuss that on the show and people hear it, it's like you said, it's like, oh, their blood is just as red as mine. You know, it's just people. It's just they went through it and they don't, nobody advertises what they went through. They did it, they sucked it up and they got it done. So being able to relate to that makes it easier in what you're trying to accomplish.
Amazing, amazing stuff. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
Will, can you please let everyone know how they can learn more about you and your company and how they can reach out to you directly?
Of course, yep. You can check out our website at the Hustle Marketing and Design. That's all of our service offerings that we have, and including a link to the podcast. Or you can reach out to me directly on Instagram at Willing to Thrive. We love to answer any business questions, or if you just want to chat, strategy or shop, or if you think you're a potential guest for the podcast, please, don't hesitate to reach out. I'll, answer the messages as I can, but I do answer back to everybody eventually when I can, and excited to meet new people. So
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing that. I really appreciate you taking the time to speak with myself and the audience. And really just the best of luck, for 2022, for is that both of us can build our businesses and, definitely let's make this happen. Thank you so much for joining me today.
thank you so much.